The UFC's headed back to the Apex, but they're bringing a pretty good fight card along with them. We have a main event that was put together in the last couple of weeks, a co-main event that's guaranteed to be fireworks, and 10 other fights. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks. I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Vegas 103. But before we talk about my bets, let's celebrate my co-host. If you're wondering what you're looking at here, this is my co-host, Jacob. He may or may not be a Make-A-Wish kid, but he is standing there in his Hayabusa gi celebrating what was a pretty successful UFC Seattle. His underdog lock of the week hit. The plus 900 prop bet that he gave you in his prop bet video hit. And a bunch of other bets hit as well. He had a 31% ROI specifically from UFC Seattle. But it doesn't end there. He picks an underdog every single week. He puts out a video on his own. It's called the Lock of the Week. And it is that one single underdog that he picks. And he has hit 3 of the last 4. And because they are underdogs, the ROI is spectacular. 71% ROI. He is heading into this event on a 2 underdog lock of the week win streak, looking for his 3rd with Cody Brundage. If you want to check out all of Jacob's bets that he does while wearing normal clothing, not this, they're available right now in premium membership. He's got a ton of bets on the board for UFC Vegas 103. And it's not just Jacob that had a great UFC Seattle. The artificial intelligence did as well. If you show up and you just want to see a couple bets in this video and move on, then my bets last week in this video did well. Jakey Boy's bets did well. We have an artificial intelligence that's picking fights, and that did well. It went 10-2 in picks on that card. That's an 83% pick accuracy from a robot. And the only 2 picks it got wrong were 2 picks that Jacob got right and that he bet on. It got Mel Costa wrong. It got Ricky Simone wrong. Both of those were picks and bets by other people on the crew. You can unlock the artificial intelligence, Jacob's picks and bets, my picks and bets, the other tools like the data analyzer. If you like to do your own research, data analyzer has every data point you could ever want or need for every fighter on every card, even out into the future, as well as tape study. You can do a full tape study, click a button, watch the fights, do your own research. You're also going to get access to the line movement tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds of win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. And every single thing that I just mentioned and a million other things that I didn't mention are available inside of our app. We have an app. It is 100% free, and the biggest benefit is certainly the experience and the push notifications. If you go to the App Store and search We Want Picks, you can download the app, and anytime we place a bet, you will get a push notification so you can beat the line movement. A lot of you wait to watch these videos on Fridays, on Saturdays, then you go to copy some of the bets, and the value just isn't there anymore. Well, if you had the app, and if you're a premium member, you would get a notification on your phone to say, hey, we just placed this bet. Maybe it's a week in advance. Maybe it's 2 weeks in advance. Maybe it's 2 days in advance. But either way, you will get notification the minute we place it. And if you like it, great. You tail. If you don't, that's fine. But at least you didn't miss out on any value. Search We Want Picks in the App Store. Become a premium member. It's only $10. All my picks, Jacob's picks, the artificial intelligence, my bets, Jacob's bets, Bet Sam's bets, every tool that we have to offer, it's all under one umbrella, a single $10 package. And that is $10 an entire month, which is why what you're looking at right here are the next 4 cards. This is every single card you're going to get in that month. That includes UFC 313, UFC London, and a couple of nice fight nights sandwiched in between. Every single thing we offer available right now at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. Before we talk about the actual bets, let's just talk in some generalities. Let's talk about this card as a whole. If I'm looking at some confident favorites, there's a lot of favorites on this card that I like. I think it's a somewhat favorite-heavy card, but I did pick a handful of dogs as well, mostly the ladies. But if we're looking at the favorites, John Castaneda is somebody that I have gotten increasingly more confident in as the week has gone on. I started off with, he's going to have a hard time with Douglas Silva de Andrade. Douglas Silva's built like a truck. He's got a head that just cannot be damaged. And if John Castaneda comes in here too fast looking for a finish, he's going to gas himself out and be in some trouble. But the more I break it down, the more I look at it, the more I watch, John Castaneda does have a pretty good gas tank. So I don't know why we're just expecting him to slow down. And his opponent is a 38-year-old who has some power in his hands. That's kind of where it ends. And finally, Douglas Silva de Andrade, his opponent, looked old. For the first time in his MMA career, in his last fight, he looked old. And time is coming for everybody. Quite the bitch. So I think John Castaneda can get it done. More and more confident in him as the week goes on. Then we have Chepe Mariscal. His odds have gone wild. He opened that not that crazy. The other day he was minus 500. Now that's coming back down. He's back to minus 410. I think he's reasonable here. If you go look at what the conversion is of odds to actual win probability, you would agree with this number. I think Chepe Mariscal wins this fight more than 8 out of 10 times. I think his just insane cardio, the forward pressure, the nonstop, the tenacity, plus his actual skills are just too good here. I don't see him getting caught in some weird submission. Then we got Danny Barlow. Danny Barlow should win this fight as well. He's fighting a beanstalk with a giant head. He's fighting a llama. You ever see a llama? It's just all neck and then an abnormally large head. That's what Danny Barlow is fighting. Danny Barlow is a good striker. Danny Barlow should be able to avoid any of the nonsense that comes his way. His opponent doesn't have the best chin in the world. Sam Patterson's been knocked out a handful of times. Gets hit pretty clean. I think Danny Barlow, who is just as long as Sam Patterson, technically has a longer reach by 1 inch, can absolutely win this fight. And then William Gomez. I'm not a William Gomez fan. I'm almost betting on him, and I'll show you that in a second, to heal my soul of the hate that I have for William Gomez. And I don't know him personally. I just dislike his fighting style. The guy lands fewer than 3 significant strikes per minute. He's been in that cage for an hour. Very boring guy. Very insanely boring. Although, in his last fight, which was a robbery, I don't want to hear otherwise, he was much more active. He had some dog in him. It actually gave me the confidence to say, you know what? He can win a tough fight. He's not just prancing around on the outside like a homosexual in a meadow. He can get in there and he can fight like a man. And that's kind of what we saw in his life. I don't think he won that fight, but I do think we saw some glimpses of dog. And he might need that in this fight because his opponent's going to come at him guns blazing. If we're looking at some underdogs, I didn't pick all of these people to win, but I do think all of them can win. I did not pick Montana Del Rosa to win. I think Luana Carolina will be able to defend the takedowns. Montana's just going to push forward. We all know Las Vegas doesn't give a shit about wrestling or takedowns. So even if Montana gets a few takedowns, unless there's like wild blood gushing, nobody cares. We just watched Jean Matsumoto get a whole bunch of takedowns, picking Rob Font over his head, slamming him down, and still the judges didn't care because John had a little paper cut in his forehead. So that better be true for Montana De La Rosa. You get a few takedowns, but unless you're just absolutely raining down hell, nobody cares. And as you can see, I don't agree with that logic. But that is the logic. That's the world we live in now, where damage is the one and only thing that matters. And if there is going to be damage on this fight, it'll be by Luana, the bigger, better striker who can defend takedowns, throw some solid punches. Then we have Andrea Lee at plus 180. I did pick her to win. I do think she wins this fight. Andrea Lee's the much better striker. And yes, she's on a wild losing streak. 5 fights in a row. Lost 8 of her last 10. It's insane. But JJ Aldrich, her opponent, also isn't very good. We just watched JJ rushing in with no real game plan in her last fight, getting absolutely lit up. This could look exactly the same. If you look at Andrea Lee's losses, it's not like she's getting sparked. She's not getting knocked out. These are close losses. Couple of split decisions in the mix. A takedown or two in either direction changes a lot of these outcomes. So I think Andrea Lee can win this fight. Cody Brundage. This line's moving, and he might be a favorite by the time you watch this. He was a plus 180 dog just last week. Plus 150 just a few days ago. Cody Brundage is obviously a controversial topic. A lot of people don't feel like his fights are genuine, right? We saw the back of the head hit a couple of fights ago, and he put on a little bit of a show, ended up winning by DQ. Then in his last fight, he again gets elbowed in the back of the head. That did some very real damage that ended in a no contest. So we have a couple of oddities when it comes to some Cody Brundage fights. But what I do know for a fact, every single time Cody Brundage fights, he comes out there and he goes for broke. He has high-level wrestling. He has incredible hands. And you can tell that dude knows how to fight. So if he's going to come out here and he's going to fight, which he knows how to do, he can definitely have some success. He has had success against almost every single person he's ever fought. And I think this will be more of the same. He's fighting Julian Marquez, who's been knocked out 2 times in a row. They used to train together. Cody is very confident that he used to beat his ass and will continue to do it. Julian Marquez even said in a press conference that Cody used to beat the hell out of him. And he literally said, if you ask my coaches, they think I suck. That doesn't sound like a dude who's trying to win this fight. And then we have Asu Almabayev in the main event. Listen, the reality is, yes, it's somewhat short notice. But Asu Almabayev is the more versatile fighter. Manel Kape's a great striker. We know that. And the better pure striker. But Asu Almabayev has striking and wrestling. And assuming that Asu doesn't have any problems with cardio because of short notice, I think he can come forward, push the pace, keep the pressure on, potentially win this fight. A lot of people are giving Manel Kape too much credit for his last win. Yeah, he's styled on Bruno Silva, but Bruno Silva is like a 37-year-old who swings kind of wild. That's not the matchup that you're going to get here. If you look at my actual bets, I'm not going heavy. I am waiting for some prop bets. I'm going to wait. So after the weigh-ins on Fridays, you get the takedown prop bets and the significant strike prop bets. I'm waiting for those. We have had a ton of success in the past betting on those. So when those start to drop, there's likely going to be more bets on the table. But if I'm just looking at the slate and I'm looking at what's going on, there's only a few fights that I had some real confidence in, and I basically bet every single one of them. We got Danny Barlow and William Gomez. Slap those two together, and I got plus money there. The reality is I think they both win for all the reasons I just explained. I think Danny Barlow is going to be the far better striker. I think William Gomez is also going to be the better striker, but also be able to manage some distance. I think they get it done, and we got some nice even money. You double your money with a plus 100 bet. You give them $100, they give you 200 back. Then we took John Castaneda, who I mentioned I am getting more and more confident in as the week goes on, and I parlayed him with the over in the first lady fight, Montana Del Rosa and Luana Carolina. I don't see a stoppage in that fight. I think there's probably a lot of cage control, some back and forth, some dancing. I think it's a close fight, and I certainly think it's a decision. 1 unit parlay, minus 169. And then I have the Asu Almabayev plus 5.5. I'll explain that math to you on the next slide. I've got it all broken out for you. Effectively, all we need is Asu to have some success. Some success. Either win the fight outright, lose a split decision, or win 2 rounds. If he wins 2 rounds, that's actually more than enough to cover this bet. It's betting the spread. If you think about football and basketball and all these other sports, you can bet the spread. You can do that in MMA as well, except it's the judges' scorecards. And then finally, we have the safety parlay. Safety parlay got screwed last week. Listen, I get losses. Everybody gets losses. It'd be insane to pretend you've never missed a bet. That's a ridiculous thing to do. And I know most people in the comments love to pretend that that's the case. It's an insane thing to expect anybody to hit every single bet they've ever placed. And it's an insane thing to pretend you have hit every bet you have ever placed. But every now and then I get screwed. And when I get screwed, I'm pretty vocal about it. I felt like I got screwed. I thought Jean Matsumoto won that fight. And before you're one of the many weirdo loser dorks that, how could you put Jean in the seat? Shut the fuck up. Jean Matsumoto was 20-something years old, came in there and did mostly what I thought he would do. Sure, Rob Font is Northeast tough, as am I. But Jean Matsumoto was picking Rob Font up, clean in the air, slamming him down, taking him down at will. You know, Jean Matsumoto landed more strikes. Jean Matsumoto landed impactful strikes. Jean Matsumoto was dictating where the fight went. I thought Jean Matsumoto won that fight. Sure, Rob Font had some success, but everybody wants to follow Rob Font. One judge gave Rob Font, actually 2 judges gave Rob Font the first round. That's the round where he was getting picked up in the air and slammed down. So yes, I'm going to die on that hill. I don't think Jean lost that fight. That safety parlay should have hit. It didn't. This one will. You can unlock the safety parlay now, along with everything else that we do at WeWantPicks.com. Here's a look at the plus 5.5 bet. So let me explain this to you. A lot of you are new to sports betting. That's probably how you even found this video. So you may not know that you can bet on the spread. The way this works, for a 5-round fight, you buy 5.5 points. For a 3-round fight, you buy 3.5 points. And the way you think about that is every single judge has to score every single round. So the chart you're looking at, if we look at judge number 1 has to score for both fighters in every round. So if judge number 1 gives, let's say the fighter on the left is Manel Kape and the fighter on the right is Asu Almabayev. If judge number 1 gives Asu Almabayev the first 2 rounds, and then Manel takes over and wins the last 3 because of short notice and cardio, that judge's final scorecard will be 48-47 for Manel. Judge number 2 does the exact same thing. Great. Judge number 3 sees it a little differently, and he only gives Asu 1 single round. The way the point spread works is you total up the final scorecards. So the most anybody could get is 150 points. That's the most you can get. 10 points per round for 5 rounds across 3 judges. Got it? 50 plus 50 plus 50, 150. That's the most you can get. And if that's what happens here and it's a shutout, our plus 5.5 bet misses. But if we have a scorecard that looks something like this, where Asu wins 2 rounds on 2 judges' scorecards and 1 round on a 3rd judge's scorecard, well, then the total score is 145 to 140. We bought 5.5 points from the sports book, and that covers the spread. Hopefully this helped. Exact same logic applies for plus 3.5 in a three-round fight. And then you can also bet the inverse of this. I like to buy points on close dogs. You could also take massive favorites and sell points. But hopefully this chart made sense. Favorite this video, like it, share it, do whatever so that you can remember this math next time we talk about this fight. You're welcome. Welcome to class. You're welcome. Leave an apple. Actually, I don't want an apple. Leave tag-alongs. Go get some Girl Scout tag-alongs. Leave them for the teacher. I mentioned I'm going to wait till Friday to look for the takedown prop bets, significant strike prop bets. The tool I use, we have a ton of success with those bets, period, end of story. And the tool I use is our tool. It's the Prop Hunter. The Prop Hunter is a whole curated set of data specifically designed for those bets. You can see the average fight minutes. You can see the average takedowns per fight. You can see the average takedowns allowed per fight. Strikes landed, strikes allowed, average fight minutes in the UFC because there's different levels. So when you're looking for prop bets, use this tool. It is available right now for premium members. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. And here's a look at some of the other bets for premium. I covered some of my bets in this video. Premium isn't just me. It's me, Jacob, Artem, BetSam, and the artificial intelligence. If we look at some of the exciting bets we have for premium members, we have Jacob's Lock of the Week parlay. So Jacob is going to be at UFC Vegas 103. He's going to be there in person. And on that card is 7 former underdog Lock of the Weeks. 7. He threw 6 of them in a parlay. One of them he bet outright. The other 6 he put into a parlay. That parlay has plus 1120 odds. Plus 1120. He threw $15 at it. It brings back almost 2 full units. Another bet on the board for premium members is the Chepe John Castaneda parlay. Minus 110. Almost even money. Then we have the Johnson Temerov under 2.5 rounds. That pays out at plus 170. That's a BetSam bet. And then Cody Brundage. Well, maybe that was a Jacob bet. I forget now. And Jacob's underdog lock of the week is Cody Brundage. He threw a full unit on him at plus 150. There are 27 total units of bets on the board for premium members, but not just for this event. We have future bets as well. While these videos operate week to week, we don't operate week to week. If we spot a fight, we spot some lines that we like early, we place them early. So if you're a premium member now, make sure you do have your notifications on in the app. Make sure you are checking the website because we have bets out in the future. UFC Vegas 104 bets. So make sure you check all those out now. If you're not a premium member, it's freaking $10 an entire month. And we've quite literally built the best product on the planet for $10. It's not even close. It's not just copy, paste bets. Check out my Patreon. It's a full website with tools, bets, insight, information, daily fantasy, everything. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Bet Openly was on the first slide. If you look at the first slide, I talk about favorites and dogs. I show you the Bet Online odds because that's normally who we use, and then the Bet Openly odds. The Bet Openly odds are better 10 out of 10 times, and that's because Bet Openly is not a sports book. They don't need you to lose money to make money. That's how sports books operate. You think about DraftKings, FanDuel, all those sports books, the only way they're in business is because the vast majority of people do dumbass parlays and just lose what they think, $5, $10, who cares? Well, $5, $10 across millions of people means giant profits for the sports books. That's literally how they stay in business. Bet Openly is not a sports book. They don't need you and your ridiculous long tail parlays to stay in business. They are facilitating bets between human beings. It's you versus another human being. And if you win, you get that person's money. If they win, they get your money. All Bet Openly does is take 1%. They take 1%. That's how they keep the lights on. That's how they run the website. That's how they make sure everybody gets paid. So they don't care who wins or loses. They're not trying to beat anybody. What they're trying to do is get as many people as possible to use the platform so that they have the volume, they make the money, and they stay in business. And because they don't care who wins or loses, they can pass the savings on. Every single odd is going to be better with Bet Openly than a sportsbook because there's no profit built in. Check them out at WeWantPicks.com/betopenly or just betopenly.com. And finally, if you want $50, we will send you $50. We do have affiliate links with these sportsbooks. And if you use one of our links to sign up for a sportsbook account and you make a deposit, they're going to pay me. And then I'm going to slice off some of that money and I'm going to give it right back to you. Pretty simple exchange here. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. There you will see all the sportsbooks we have partnerships with. Click the button, make an account, make a deposit. They will pay me, and I'll give you $50. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Guys, this is a good week. Next week is going to be an even better week. We are in the middle of this long run with no breaks, and things have been going well. I'm hoping you're going to have as good of a week as I hope we're going to have. And good luck, guys. Appreciate every last one of you.